What's going on? Happy Monday. It's Monday because Raw was on TV earlier. So, happy Monday. This is another episode of the Knucklehead Chronicles presents the Cancer Chronicles. This is episode 4. This is the road to round 4 of chemo, which will be this coming Friday. This episode is going to be a little different because I am doing it live on my Facebook page and on YouTube. So hopefully I get some viewers to come in and take a listen to what I'm talking about. Maybe, maybe not. I mean, who knows? But on this episode, though, I'm going to talk about how things are going so far. Just kind of give updates and things. So this is going to kind of be like a how can I put it? Like Tina Turner song. The beginning of this is going to start out real soft. The end of it is going to be a little rough, but just stay with me. Just stay with me. um, so, like I said before, this is the road. This is the road to round 4. Round 4 is on a Friday. With my chemo treatments. Chemo has been going okay. I haven't had any really bad adverse effects to chemo. Just a little bit of nausea, a lot of fatigue, though. I spend a lot of my time, especially after infusion. I spend a lot of my time under my covers, kind of just, um, but what I want to talk about tonight, though, those of you that follow me on Facebook and that are friends of mine, know that I have gone through some crazy stuff over the last couple of days. And a lot of people, I get a lot of inboxes and phone calls and text messages from people that are like, "Really, you going through all that? And you going through the cancer?" Yeah, yeah. But we'll get into that later. But what I want to discuss tonight is just, the mindset going into another round of chemo. Now, I will say this: there are a lot of times where I get these intrusive thoughts, and I had a bunch of them today, and the intrusive thoughts almost won. But what's important is when you're going through something like this, that you have to remember that the fight, it's your fight, right? And what you do or don't do not only affects you, but the people around you. And it took me a little while to get there, right? Because I've always figured, whatever actions I take are my actions and they affect me only. But that's not true, right? Um, it affects everyone else around me. Um, I come to a lot of realizations. I'll be, for those of you that don't know, I'll be 50, the big 50 on April 3rd. Lord willing, I'll make it April 3rd, but I'll be the big 50 on April 3rd. And I've come to a lot of realizations going into with the cancer treatments, dealing with certain people that were in my life that are no longer there. Just dealing with things, across the board. A lot of one of the main realizations that I came to as I was sitting in chemo, round 3, this was last week, round 3 by myself. The realization I came to is that a lot of people that say they're there for you really aren't. And they're looking for a way to get at you. And it's okay to cut those people off. It really is. It's really okay to say, you know what, I'm just not going to do this with you. I'm not going to flow with you like this, and we're just going to end it end it here. Whether no matter how abrupt it may seem to them, but for your mental health and for your physical health, for that matter, it's beneficial. And so for me, I had to come to the realization, sitting in round 3, that I just had to cut some people. I just had to cut people off because there are people that are for me, there are people that are against me, and even though things seem well, and that was just um, that's what it's supposed to look. That's what it's supposed to do. I'm sorry. That's what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to look like it was all right. But in essence, it really wasn't. And the realization that I come to, and it's okay. I mean, to have these realizations at whatever age you come to them, but to come to a realization and say, you know what, I'm not doing this with you. My health is more important. I realized at this point in this juncture, this at this point in my life, that what's important for me is staying alive to the best of my ability. You know, uh, doing the chemo, eating like I'm supposed to, drinking like I'm supposed to, doing everything I'm supposed to do, and praying that this mass shrinks. They can do surgery, and I can one day say and ring the bell and say that I'm cancer free. That's the point, right? Anything outside of that is a distraction. Anything outside of that benefits me none, right? And so I need to learn. I had to learn how to stand on my own too, even though so used to someone being there and someone um, advocating for me and this and that, and then having to learn how to advocate for myself and be there for myself. And this is for everyone who's listening. If you're going through something, man, it's okay to advocate for yourself. It's okay because nobody's going to do it like you, anyways, right? Nobody's going to be that advocate, that true advocate for you, but you. And despite how much, how hurtful it is, or because I went through a lot. I went through a lot, and some people understand that know my story. Other folks, there's some folks that are watching this and listening to this, and they're like, "Terry, what the hell are you talking about?" If you just go back and listen to the last 3 episodes, but I will say this: I harbor no ill will to anyone that has something negative to say about me. I harbor no ill will about anyone's trying to paint a narrative that I'm a bad guy, uh, I'm a bad parent, I'm fraudulent. I've heard so many things over the past weekend. It's just really bananas. But what I'm learning is that my let me back up. My daughter posted on her page today, on her Facebook page. She got this book, and the book is titled "The Art of Not Giving a Fuck." I said, and so I commented, and I was like, I need that book. I need to learn how to do that. I've never mastered that. I never mastered not giving a fuck. But going through this cancer, going through these cancer treatments, I say that going through my cancer treatments and realizing that people aren't who they say they are aren't who they portray. Um, I'm learning that in this juncture of my life, it's about me and my health, and it's about me being okay mentally and physically. I've gone through a lot over the past couple, over all of 24, and then this year. I know that I can't allow people to dictate how I feel at any point in time. People are going to say what they want to say. People are going to have an opinion about you one way or the other. They're going to either like you or hate you. Um, in one breath, they say, "Oh, we don't want anything to happen to them," but in the next breath, they're like, "Nigga, hope you die." You know what I'm saying? So it's people are going to be people, and so what I want people to do mostly is to search your circle. You know, be very leery. Not, I wouldn't say leery, but be mindful of your circle, because everybody in your circle really ain't for you. You know what I'm saying? They might say that. They might say that they're for you. There are a lot of people in your circle that's not really for you. They're just there for they're there for the show. They want to see what they can. They want to see what they can see. They want to keep you in proximity so that way they can be close to whenever something goes down. They can catch the remnants. Um, but as I head into round 4, my head is pretty clear. Um, I had a lot of cloudy before because I thought I had, I thought that I had a level of support. I thought that I had someone who had my back. Um, but a lot of people that know me, that know the inside scoop, is that they're like, well, you should have known that going in, that but I really didn't, because I really thought that um, this person had my back, and you know they were for me. But the realization is they weren't. You know, um, as a cancer patient, you got to be very mindful of people and what they say to you, right? I know I'm jumping. I'm gonna come to a conclusion here in a second. But when I say be mindful of your circle, when people are talking to you and people speak death upon you, I I would say this in true transparency. If I had a nickel since my diagnosis in December, right, and this is now March. If I had a nickel for every time I heard someone say to me, "Well, you'll be dead soon anyway," if I had a nickel every time I heard that, I can go buy a Big Mac meal. I really could. I mean, if I had a nickel. Um, and so be mindful of what people say, because if people are speaking, people who are around you that supposedly support you and love you, and if they are speaking like that, that's a red flag. If you didn't know that, that is an absolute red flag. And sometimes, you know, they say all kinds of stuff, um, and it's amazing to me that people have the heart to do it and then tell you the abuser, you the abuser. I'm not sure that's narcissistic behavior. I'm not sure. I think that's what narcissistic behavior is defined as. But they say stuff like that to you and then tell you the abuser, and then will sick her, and then will sick her dogs on you, or the dogs on you, and then everybody else saying the same thing she's saying. So it's kind of like, you know, I'm going through cancer treatment. Like, I'm going through chemo. Listen, I don't have time for that. That's the reason why, I've chose, and people that's in my circle, I've told them, don't engage in any of that stuff. Hey, Deborah on YouTube, what's going on with you? Um, don't engage in that stuff. It's just, it doesn't help you nor them. It definitely doesn't help me, because now I'm stressed out because you're in trouble. So don't do that. But I said all that to say this, is that in my cancer journey, going into round 4, I'm still as nervous as my first round, because the chemo for me is getting a little bit more difficult. Like the first couple of rounds were okay. Round 3 was a little bit rougher. I had a little bit of neuropathy in the fingers and toes. I mean, those of you guys that know anything about that, um, know that what that feels like. Not being able to touch anything cold, having to wear gloves, not being able to drink anything in the fridge. You have to let it sit out for a minute and drink it at room temperature and all that. Um, so it's getting a little bit it got to the point last round that they had to prescribe me medication for the neuropathy, because it was really bad, really, really bad. It felt like razor blades cutting into my fingers and my toes. And it was like, oh, you got to keep an eye on neuropathy, because if it gets any worse, just stop your chemo and all that. But the medication so far is working. We'll know what the medication has done after round 4 on Friday. We'll see what that does. But that's what it is. Just be careful of your circle. Be careful of the people you keep around you. Be careful of what people speak, because there is the whole saying goes, there is power in the tongue, life and death. It's in the power of your tongue. When you're speaking, when you telling people, man, you're gonna be dead soon. Guess I better get my stuff in order, you know, or whatever. However you choose to verbalize it. Excuse me. However you choose to verbalize it. Be careful what you say to people. You don't know what kind of effect you have on people. You don't know what kind of hurt you inflict. And when I tell you, this journey has been nothing short of crazy as all get out. Like, it's really been nuts. Um, from the diagnosis to this moment right now, it has really been crazy. The emotional roller coaster, um, But at some point, just like in your regular lives, even if you're not suffering with any kind of cancer or anything like that, at some point, it's got to stop. You have got to put the brakes on and be like, wait a minute, you know. And 49 years I've been on this rock. I never did that. I just allow people to say, do whatever, and I still try to make amends. I'm not saying that I'm the perfect guy. I made a lot of bad choices and a lot of bad mistakes. However, my heart is good, and I don't. I feel like I don't deserve any of the negative that I've received, but people are going to be people. They're going to talk. Somebody probably going to watch this and run back and tell this person he's on he's on your podcast, he's on his podcast. I really don't care at this point in the game. I really don't. My only thing is I'm trying to survive and trying to make it, to I can be around for my kids. Whether they want me in their lives or not. I want to be in my children's lives, all of them, my oldest ones, my grandbabies, my youngest one who will be 8, coming up in a couple of days. I won't be able to attend his birthday party because I have chemo this weekend, so that's kind of sucky because the birthday party was scheduled on the weekend that I have chemo, which I don't know who does that. But anyhow, that's neither here nor there. Be mindful of who you put your mouth on. Be mindful of that because you just don't know. I'm a firm believer in karma. I'm a firm believer that what you put out, you will receive. Absolute truth. What you put out on this earth to people, to things, you will receive. You will reap what you have said. You will reap what you sow. And so just be mindful. But yeah, in closing, I'm excited about round 4. I got 2 more rounds before I get rescanned and they tell me whether or not I can have surgery. If I can have surgery, great. If not, I got 6 more rounds to do. Then I go into radiation if it goes that far. But I want to send out a shout out real quick before I get off here to everyone who has donated to my GoFundMe. Now, let me be clear with my GoFundMe. My GoFundMe is for my MY expenses until my disability kicks in. My GoFundMe page says it. I don't want nobody to be confused by it. I don't want nobody to turn back and say, "Oh, you're being fraudulent. You mentioned your kids in your video," which was a AI generated video. Wasn't something that I sat down and scripted and did. But I don't want nobody to think, "Oh, you're being fraudulent. Oh, you're doing this, you're doing that." Don't send me any cease and desist letters via text. Don't do that. You know what I'm saying? Been through enough of that. But my GoFundMe is legit. It is for me and my expenses because I'm unemployed. I don't have any money. When I ask for donations, they come through. Those go to paying my roommate, making my car payment, doing things I need to do until my disability kicks in. Once my disability kick in, let me be real clear. When my disability kick in, the GoFundMe goes away. Okay, just so everyone knows that. Don't want any confusion. I don't want nobody to be confused. So it is what it is. I thank you. I appreciate you. Everyone that donated, thank you. I put up a post on my Facebook today that if you have donated to the GoFundMe, if you've already donated, don't worry about donating again unless your heart says so. But what I would like, if you would share it to your platforms, that would be greatly appreciated. God will honor your sacrifice by doing that. I really appreciate it. And I am going to keep moving. I am going to keep fighting because I will not allow people to deter me. I will not let negativity keep me from my end goal. Guess what? I'm going on vacations. I'm going to do stuff. I'm going to experience life, which I've negated doing for years because I'm trying to do for everybody else. But this is me. This is for me. This is for me. Somebody said it's okay to be selfish sometimes. And I'm telling you right now, I'm going to be selfish with me. Like this is me. I'm the one facing cancer. I'm the one facing death here. Me. I cannot let anyone and what they think about me. I'm not going to let anyone and what they think about me deter me. Whatever opinion, if you're watching this and you're listening to this on your audio platforms, and if you have anything negative to say or to think about Terry Little, whatever it is, keep feeling it, because I can't change it. All right, I'm going to keep living my life, and I'm going to keep my chemo treatments, and I'm going to keep doing what I got to do. I'm going to beat this. I'm going to ring the bell, and I'm going to do a video about it, and I'm going to put it everywhere. I digress. You guys have a great night. Thank you for listening. I really appreciate it. Stay tuned for episode 5 coming up in a couple of days. You guys have a wonderful rest of your evening, and I will see you next time.